Let go of stuff you can't control, man. This is something that's very simple and something that everybody has dealt with and everybody has came across in their life or thought about in their head before, right? But I feel like it's something that we tend to forget sometimes when it comes to not being where we want to be in life, right? Especially in this moment, right? Because when you are not where you want to be in life, you want to try to take your hand and put control over everything. That way you can have the coins, have the dominoes fall in line so you can have everything in your life in order and put together, right? And, as a human, it's nothing wrong with that, right? Because you want to know that you have control over the way and the progression that you have in life, right? You want to be able to know in the back of your head that you are comfortable in every aspect of your life, right? You want to be able to know in the back of your head that there is a will and there is a way to get to that point to where you are able to control those things, right? But as people and as believers of Christ, we have to understand that not everything is in our control, right? Not everything that we want to have control over, we can have control over, right? And you know what? Now that made me think of the Berserk intro, right? The 1997 Berserk intro, right? To the episode, right? I'm pretty sure it's in every episode or just in one specific episode, right? And basically, the narrator talks about how man has no control over his will, right? And I feel like this is something that is true, right? As a person, you can have strong will and you can have strong willpower, right? But you have no control over your will fully, right? Because you obviously don't know what type of obstacles and what type of trials and tribulations could be thrown at you, right? But that's not to say that you can't overcome them. And that's not to say that you should quit if a hard time or a hard trial is presented to you in life, right? But if it's something that you know that you can control, then obviously, you know, face it, standing up and full face forward, go after it and try to do the best that you can with the power of God, with the will of God, in mind, right? But if it's something that you know that you have no control over, if you know it's something that you cannot try to change on your own will and on your own doing, then why get so frantic and why get so stressed about it, right? Obviously, in that present moment, right? Like I said, when it comes to certain aspects of life, you want to be able to have control over those things so that you know that you are okay, right? But in that moment, you know that you aren't able to control it and you know that you aren't able to do anything to try to will it around, right? But I feel like as people, we still try to figure out and come up with a solution to try to control it and to try to place our hand over it when it may not be our business to do that and it may not be in our power to do that, right? And it's something that's so simple, right? Well, if you know you have no control over it, then why do you still try to control it? Why do you still try to will it to your own way? And I feel like the reason we do this is because, like I said before, and like what I've been hitting home at with the beginning of this video and with this video in general is nobody wants to feel like they don't have control over their own will and over their own life. It's a scary feeling, bro, when you don't have no direction of where you are going and you feel like you have no power over of where you are going, right? Now, obviously, it's examples and moments in life where, like I said, in the back of your head, if you know that you have power and you know that, the Holy Spirit can be, used through you to get through those moments and to get through those problems, then go full force and go ahead with it, right? Ask God about, how to discern it and how to go about it, and to let his will be done, and let his will, go about solving that problem and solving that trial, right? But if you know it's something that's just like completely out of your control and out of this world, then don't try to do that on your own. Go to him for the help. Go to him for the power in order to get through that trial and to get through that problem, right? But it's hard, right? It's hard because, like I said, as humans, we want to know that we have a clear path. Not necessarily a clear path, but we want to know that we have understanding and we have clarity of where we are going in life. And we have clarity and understanding of, the will over our lives, right? Nobody wants to go throughout life and just go through life and not know whether or not if they have control over, whether or not if they have control over their will to will their life to where they want it to be, to will the problems that they have, to will it to where they want it to be in order to get through that problem, right? You know what I mean? Nobody wants to sit up here and to just question that, right? Because we are met with uncertainty, right? We are met with uncertainty, and we are met with confusement, and we are met with fear, right? We are met with fear because we don't know where we are going, right? And that's another video that I have in the deep files for a cool minute. But I want to put as much energy and emphasis into that video as possible, right? And what that video is willpower and determination enough to get through the problems and to get through, the trials and tribulations of life, right? That's the question I'm posing, and that's, the thought that I'm trying to get across within this video, right? Is those things enough to get us through life? And in a short way, and then to, kind of summarize it before I go and venture off into that topic, I feel like no. I feel like when it comes to the things that we know that we have no control over, for example, you have no control over what your life may look like in the next 5 years, right? You can start to take steps in order to, mold and form, what you will want your life to be like in the next 5 years. But you don't know what can happen in the next 4 years. Anything can happen. Any mishap could come up. Any uncertainty, any uncertain circumstance could pop up out of nowhere, right? You don't know what can happen in those moments, right? So you want to try to be able to control it as much as possible, but obviously that's not something that you can control over in the present moment, right? It's not something that you have full control over in that present moment, because you don't know what the next 4 years can entail for you, right? You don't know what the next day can entail for you, right? The dog feel that way too. I know y'all hear him. He feel that way too. I'm going to try to edit him out as much as possible, but he feel that way too, right? That's an example and, a thing that you may not have full control and will over, right? But that doesn't mean that you should just quit and give up. at the end of the day either. That's another thing that I'm trying to drive home too. Just because you don't have control over that thing, just because it's something that you can't control, doesn't mean that you should just try to give up and, throw it off to the side. No, just know in the back of your head to not stress yourself out about it and to not run yourself down into the ground about it, but to just move past it and to keep moving forward with, okay, that's something that I may not be able to have control over in this present moment, or that's something that I may not have control over, within life, but that just doesn't mean that I should just give up and completely, throw it off to the side, right? So that's what I wanted to come on here and talk about. Let me know if there's anything that I could have explained better, or anything that I may have missed out, or something that you want to put into the video also. But with that being said, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'm out.